Good evening. Explosive allegations have emerged that Indonesian abattoir workers were paid to abuse cattle in the video, which led to a blanket ban on live exports to Indonesia. The claims emerged as the first cattle shipment since early June left from Darwin this afternoon.
A long-awaited sight for our troubled cattle industry today. 3,000 head of cattle loaded onto ships here in Darwin, headed for Indonesia. The shipment is the first to leave our shores since the live export ban was introduced more than 2 months ago. The exports starting just in time.
It's a big time of year, leading into the wet season, and especially before the wet season kicks in, utilising the floodplain country before the wet season actually covers that country up and offloading those cattle into Indonesia.
But the battle isn't over yet.
We've got a long way to go. This is the very first early tentative step on a very, very long road to recovery.
So many people on the land in the Northern Territory still do not know when the next paycheck is coming, and for many of those pastoralists and for hundreds of families, potentially there is still no paycheck this year at all.
The few thousand cattle being loaded here today is a promising start for the industry, but with a couple of 100,000 head of cattle remaining stuck in paddocks across the Northern Territory, there's still a long way to go. The export comes as startling revelations surfaced in a Senate hearing today that Indonesian abattoir workers were paid to abuse cattle while Animals Australia filmed them, the same vision used in ABC's Four Corners program Into the Trade.
It has been put to me by sources that I regard to be credible that payment was actually made to those slaughtermen to enact and to exact the level of cruelty we saw.
I'm an animal advocate, as are the people that work with me. To suggest that we would pay people to be cruel is just outrageous, and it's deeply offensive.
Meanwhile, the industry's continued calls for support from federal government finally paid off, the Commonwealth announcing assistance in the form of low-interest loans of up to $300,000. While welcomed, there are fears from many in the industry today's announcement will send cattle properties further into debt rather than help them out of it.
We don't want to see debt levels increasing. We don't want to see loans extended to businesses so they're going to be in a worse position at the end of this crisis than they were at the beginning.
Applications for the loans will be open for 6 months. Amy Davis, 9 News.